Number 1. The Night. It is impossible to describe the horrifying scenes I have witnessed. Death and misery in every shape of terror rule this place. I can no longer recall how I have come to this place. All I remember is the opaque, milky fumes of opium and the murky den hazing, a sweet, welcoming abyss. I awoke to dreadful screams in this endless night at the feet of an old tree that leaked foul-smelling fluids. I know not how much to reach these poor souls, nor do I want to. Keeping a record is all I can do to make sense of it. Number 2. Vigo. I discovered a hidden laboratory while running away from a monster. Its stocks are uncommonly plentiful. I observed shelves of alkaloids, crates of silver syringes, piles of protective clothes, and a journal signed Vigo. Its pages are filled with notes of an ancient force that controls the nature of this place, that shapes it. I also noted a few drawings of the growing cankers I've seen on trees. Number 3. The Blight. I have been obsessively deciphering Vigo's journal. His work is elegant but erratic, drawing obscure conclusions from disjointed fields. Most entries mention a powerful force, the entity which undergoes a purge that occurs once a year. During this period, the entity is infested with blight. According to Vigo, cankers bloom into pustulas, a type of flower that spurts putrid nectar, the thick fluid I saw oozing from the trees. The fast pages of the journal mention a serum distilled from the nectar, but the pages detailing its effects and preparation were torn out. Number 4. Wounded. I'm hiding in a dense strip of forest. I'm desperate to erase the distressful images engraved into my mind. Last night, a disfigured man barged into the laboratory with a gruesome mechanical mouth and sealed the walls into splinters. I barely escaped with my life and wounded my arm in the process. I have no options left. These monsters find me no matter where I go. All I have is a journal filled with obscure promises of escape. I will return to the laboratory. Number 5. Experiment. I'm close to death. I can feel it. When I returned to the laboratory, I started experimenting with the putrid nectar and distilled it into a foul serum. But I made a terrible mistake. I injected the serum into a dead rodent, whose pupils dilated and its body shook. I tried to restrain it, but the creature bit into my arm, ripping my wound open. I stopped the bleeding, but I fear the damage is done. Number 6. Experiment 2. I awoke to a terrible cry booming from the cellar and a violent bout of nausea. Through the vile ordeal, I started to recollect what had happened. Tainted with the foul serum, my wound had swollen with lymph, at which point my assailant returned. Most of our fight was a blur, but I can recall red tears trickling down his gruesome cheeks as I clawed at his face, and some moment later when I kicked him, sending him crashing into a brick wall. The power I felt then. There are no words for it. I know now that there is truth to Vigo's methods. Another cry. My assailant, now chained in the cellar, must be getting restless. The end is near. Number 7. The Peak. I should have foreseen his escape given the potent dosage I administered him, but I needed to see the results. Pustula flowers are now blooming on the path leading to the laboratory. According to Vigo's journal, this rapid spread is a sign that blight is at its peak. Soon there will be no more putrid nectar to extract. Number 8. Exhausted. I slept very little. The acute throbbing in my wound sent me on a restless, agitated drowse. I have no strength left to be patient, and my distress fosters brutal methods. There are no lines I will not cross. I limited my rest to only a few minutes here and there. I could not afford wasting time. Pustulas, once lush with nectar, were withering away at the roots of cankerous trees. I could only extract droplets from a few frail flowers. I'm running out of time. Number 10. At last. Based on Vigo's calculations, tonight is my last chance. I filled a syringe with the last drops of serum and injected it into my arm. Number 11. The end. I did everything right and failed. I am stuck in this infernal place with no serum and nowhere to hide. Number 12, Vigo. I looked for Vigo. I shouted his name with no concern for monsters lurking about. I need to find him. I picture the scene etching a caress of wild lines in my mind, focusing at the moon, and I know something is off. I feel the dead under my pillow. Number 13, Pray. Soon, very soon, I will be at peace. The cold claws of death are drawing near. It's here. The entity is here. It has found me.